Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Adam McKola TV. I am Adam. We are live. Wow, if you're watching live, we're live. If you're not watching live and you're watching back, welcome to the show. Anyway, this is another Manchester United transfer video. I haven't done one of these in a while, and as it's January, as the transfer window is open, and as Manchester United are linked with plenty of players, I thought, why not have a chat with you guys about them? And of course, we can have a little moan about Manchester United getting absolutely battered in the Manchester derby if we want to as well. I am still disappointed about that one, just like Stormzy as well. I am still disappointed about that one. It was absolutely awful from Manchester United yesterday. And of course, after Manchester United took a thumping by Manchester City, and as our midfield is depleted, as our squad is thin as hell, we are obviously hearing links with many of players. We're hearing Manchester United want to sign players, but if the players aren't available, they're going to wait until January. Can we get any players in this transfer window? I'll be honest with you, even before we go into any of these rumours and evaluate whether they will or won't happen, I'm not confident Manchester United will make any signings in this transfer window. Every time we hear United discussing transfers, whether it's in the summer, whether it's in the January, whatever, we're always making excuses before the window actually happens. I find this time around it's January, so it's difficult. In the summer, it's I don't know what else it is, and we always find excuses to not do business. In the last couple of transfer windows, if you take into account the last two summer windows and the January transfer window, we've signed 6 players. One of them was Lingard from Stoke. One of them was Daniel James from Swansea. One of them was Fred. One of them was Dalot. One of them was Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. So we clearly haven't been able to do much business. A lot of this business has been on our doorstep or been deals that should be easy to make happen. And we've been very inactive. But nevertheless, let's discuss some of the rumours that are linking Manchester United players with exits and Manchester United with potential arrivals in this transfer window as well. The first one we'll talk about is a potential exit, of course, of Ashley Young. Now, Ashley Young has been at Manchester United for a long, long time. When did he join now? 2011? 2000? No? Yeah? 2011, Ashley Young joined Manchester United. I can't remember correctly. This whole last couple of 10 years has been an absolute blur. But Ashley Young could potentially, he joined Manchester United in 2011. Could potentially be leaving Manchester United after 9 years at the club, or almost 9 years at the club. His contract comes up to an expiry at the end of the season, so obviously he can discuss a transfer with teams. And reliable sources have been speaking about him joining Inter Milan. Now, Inter Milan have already taken Alexis, Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku. We've seen Chris Smalling hasn't done too badly out in Serie A at Roma. Ashley Young could be one that potentially joins him. Now, Manchester United are believed to have allowed him to have talks over a potential move even from this summer, but they may delay that one if we can't get a replacement, or if we don't see fit in terms of our squad. Now, I'm in two minds over this one. I don't mind if Ashley Young leaves. If he wants to go, let him go. He's been a good servant for the club. He's done well. And to be honest, he should be surplus to requirements. I know he's probably a great character in the dressing room, and he's one of the only experienced lads and one of the only few that have been left over from that success from Sir Alex Ferguson. But nevertheless, the time is coming to an end, and whether it's this January or the summer, Ashley Young's going to go. So if he wants to go, let him go with our blessings. But then another side of it is, actually, if we get an injury to Brandon Williams or Luke Shaw, or even Luke Shaw, if we play Brandon Williams and we need a replacement, Ashley Young can come in there. We've got Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Ethan Laird's coming through, that's great. But nevertheless, we still potentially could need him, and just holding on to him till the end of the season may be the wiser thing to do. But if he wants to go, we could see him agree a deal with an option to move in the summer, or potentially leave in January, and I think United may get a little fee. But Ashley Young could potentially be going to Inter Milan, and I think it could be a good move for him. Going to Serie A, Italy's a little bit slower, obviously. It's still very competitive. There's still a lot of great teams in there, but he'd have the benefit of playing He'd probably be playing wing back as well, so he wouldn't have as much defensive responsibilities. Different culture, different food, different environment. It could probably prolong his career a little bit longer. So it could be a good move for him as well. So, you know, he'd go with my blessings. And I think his time at Manchester United is coming to an end anyway. Although I do think he deserves a little bit more respect. You know, seeing some people celebrate it and that going crazy. Just chill out a little bit, yeah? Ashley Young ain't a bad person at all. He may be a bad player right now. We may not need him that much, but, you know, relax a little bit on Ashley Young. What do you guys think about Ashley Young? Moses let him go. He's been shot on enough. He cleared that up in the podcast with Sam on Man United, didn't he? That it wasn't actually shit, and they slowed it down frame by frame, and it wasn't. I think someone spat behind him, and the frame made it look like, as he was walking and going forward, it looked like it landed in his mouth, but it was actually behind him, which was interesting. But yeah, Partey got a 25 million release clause. He should be someone we should be looking at, says Mustafa. What's going on with Lingard and Raiola, says Anish. There's been rumours in the last couple of days that Jesse Lingard has got Mino Raiola as his new agent. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know at all whether that's true or not. There hasn't been any denials or confirmations, but that has been a rumour that's been going on. Wiley or Stormzy, says Nazir. I'm just enjoying it, to be honest. I'm a massive fan of both of theirs, even though Wiley has blocked me on Twitter for some old tweets back in the day about, obviously, I think when he was clashing Big H and I was just stupid and young. But anyway, I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of their works, and I'm enjoying the clash. Obviously, it's 2 records apiece at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. I'd say possibly Stormzy's edging it at the minute, but Wiley's got in twice as well, so it's good. It's good for Grime as well. Enjoy it. Anyway, back to the football. John says, good move for everyone with Williams, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, FM, which I think is Fosu, Mensah, Shaw, Delo and Laird. We are well covered. Love Ashley, but won't be sad to see him leave, says Josh. Sorry. What about the Cavani rumours, says Diego. I haven't read too much into those rumours. Dot Rotten's on fire. Dot Rotten's a classic. If you haven't heard, which Foot Radio was it? The Foot Radio set back in the day when he went in on Wiley as well. It was amazing. I think everyone's been in on Wiley or had some sort of clash with him. Andy says, do you realistically believe we were signing anyone in January? Because I fear the worst. I do not think we will be signing anyone, but I always edge on the side of caution. I didn't think we were signing Paul Pogba and many other players right up until they happened. So very rarely am I, knowledgeable with what's going to happen. I just use the rumours and have a little guess. But nevertheless, let's move on to the other rumour that came out, which was Donny van der Beek potentially coming to Manchester United. Now, there's been a rumour, and it came out in Sport Witness, and then it came out in Holland as well, which were reliable sources. And it's basically saying Manchester United are interested in signing Donny van der Beek, potentially signing him this January transfer window, but if not, in the summer. And that's why I'm never confident. When I'm hearing those kind of things, they're trying to sign him, but if they can't get him, they'll get him in the summer. That just sounds defeatist from the start. How about you just slap an extra 10 mil on and get him now? Do you know what I mean? The rumours are of a £50 million bid, or a fee similar to that what would have taken to get Longstaff. And if you're looking at Longstaff or Donny van der Beek, I'd probably say Donny van der Beek. I think they're probably a little bit different players. Van der Beek obviously plays a little bit more further forward. He can occupy the deeper roles as well. I think it would be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. He's obviously a cultured player. He's obviously a very good footballer, schooled at Ajax. We could potentially make it happen because of the links there with Edwin van der Sar as well. I'm sure that the conversation would be an easy one to make happen in terms of speaking with him. But is it going to happen in January? Probably not. I think Ajax are going through a very difficult title challenge this year with AZ Alkmaar coming through and challenging them as well. They've obviously recently sold De Ligt and Frankie de Jong. Nearly forgot which the lad that went to Barcelona. So they've sold those players. So they're not going to be looking to let Van der Beek go in January. I think United would have to force it, spend a little bit more than we would probably have to in the summer if we wanted to make it happen. But why not? I don't think he's worth £100 million, and I don't think he would cost £100 million. Like Joseph says, De Ligt went for £68 million, probably a more valuable player. It's a little bit further on, and we've probably gone a little bit further, and fees have gone a little bit higher. But United should be able to make it happen for around 50, 60 million pounds. And if you can, get him in. Our midfield has been shot to pieces. Paul Pogba is going to be out for at least God knows how long, another 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it is, with his recovery from his operation. Although I've seen he's started some light recovery already, which is surprising in itself considering how quickly it's come about. But after the operation, and obviously Scott McTominay is out for probably another 4 or 5 weeks. So with our midfield shot to bits, with Fred, you know, I felt sorry for Fred against Manchester City. I don't think he played well. He gave the ball away a few times, but he was trying to make things happen, and at times he was leading the press on his own as well. He was going up the field a lot, pulling people on, trying to bring people on with him. I felt sorry for him against Manchester City, and he's clearly trying to make things happen, and he's trying to grab hold of things in that midfield, but he can't do it on his own. The likes of Andreas Pereira in the midfield, attacking and defensive, and you know, holding areas and all that. Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard, Nemanja Matic, although it was a little bit of an improvement against Manchester City. They're all, you know, not good enough for Man United. We need to bring signings in. We need to bring a number of signings in. Even if we brought in Donny van de Beek now, and we get McTominay back, we get Pogba back, and if Pogba stays in the summer, we'd still need another midfielder. At the minimum, you'd think Matic would go, we'd have to replace him. If you brought in that and you kept Pogba, you'd probably be a little bit more happy with a new midfielder. One, if that was Donny van de Beek or somebody else, Pogba, McTominay, Fred, and like the likes of James Garner, Dylan Levitt coming through, you could be happy with that. At the moment, we haven't got quality at all. Isn't Hakim Ziyech not of greater value for United? Says Tish. No, I think we need a midfielder so massively now. I know that's not to say we don't need attackers, because we do. But we need a midfielder for me much more. Gov says need to sign at least 3 midfielders by August. Would love Van der Beek, but he's not a one-man army. Of course he's not, but you have to sign. You have to start somewhere. You're not going to sign 3 players at once, are you? So you have to bring one in at a time. And if he could be one of those, then yes. Now obviously I'm talking about, and I'm kind of including him in things. Obviously it's not a move that may happen in January. And the fact that that story comes with that, it just does my head in. We're not going to make any signings in this January transfer window. I'd be very, very surprised, and I hope I am surprised in the transfer window and we do make something happen. But the fact that it's reliable sources that are reporting it over there in Holland as well, hopefully means there's something in it. And Manchester United have opened communications with Ajax as a view to making that move happen, or potentially making some other moves happen. Now get your questions in as well, guys. We've got at least another 10 minutes of the show. I'm going to be checking out what else is in the news at the minute. Someone else asked about Jackie Grealish and James Maddison. Now I'd take both of them at the club. I'd take both Jack Grealish and I'd take both James Maddison at the club, to be totally honest with you. Who would I rather have? I still think they're a little bit different. I think Maddison's more of a player that passes, moves, likes to link up play, likes to get involved. Jackie Grealish, he can create goals and create chances as well, and he's created more chances than James Maddison this season. But I do think that's partly because he's the focal point of that Aston Villa side, whereas James Maddison's part of a very well functioning Leicester side. But I think Jack Grealish will, you know, take on men, run at players, beat men a little bit more, which also shows in the amount of times that he's fouled. James Maddison can play a little bit deeper in that midfield. And playing that number 10 position. I'd take both of them. If I had to choose one, we're not going to get any of them in January, that's for sure. If I had to take just one, I'd probably say Jack Grealish. And I say this because he looks like a player to me. Like, you see something in him where he plays with that pressure on his shoulders of playing for Aston Villa, trying to, you know, even in trying to get them promoted, now playing in the Premier League, being that main man, being that focal point. He carries a lot of pressure on his shoulders and it doesn't seem to bother him. And I think that kind of grounding could be good for coming to Manchester United. That's not to say James Maddison wouldn't be a success at all. And James Maddison doesn't have the ability or the mentality to be able to be a success at Man United. And like I said, I'd take both of them. There's no reason you should have to take one if you can get both. But for me, probably Jack Grealish. Yes, audacity, what's going on? Saints is Grealish's quality. Big mistake was letting the Amsterdam leave. We need to get our fullbacks higher up the pitch and putting 100% every game. It's Jacob. No one's coming from Leicester's with Rodgers there, says Fairmont. He's a baller, says Joss. The Glazers are having us all over, says Alfred. You're bang on there, mate, and they have been since 2005. The only thing that saved us between 2005 and 2013 was Sir Alex Ferguson's greatness. Apart from that, then, you know, it's not been great. Grealish is also in a worse team, and bringing stats are amazing, to be honest, says Joseph. To be honest, I'd rather United sign Bruno Fernandes over Maddison or Grealish. Fernandes seemed more realistic in January. He's from Sporting and has an 85 million release clause. Bruno Fernandes is another talented player, massively talented player, and you know, any club would be happy to have him. Maddison and Grealish have that obviously benefit in terms of they've played in the Premier League, they know what it's all about. They're a little bit tried and tested in that aspect, but that's not to say Bruno Fernandes isn't a talented player. I see Memphis coming back in the summer after a good European Championship, says Dish. With this injury that he's just having, I'm not sure where he is in his recovery. It'd be interesting to see how he recovers from that. Any news on Angel Gomes and his United contract, says John. It was good to see him, refreshing to see him involved yesterday, coming off the bench, although it was probably a little bit too late. Now, you've obviously seen the reports. I remember saying I feared that he was going to be moving elsewhere, and potentially those rumours of him going to Barcelona would rear its head again, and the English press have picked up on those stories again recently, speaking about those rumours. And it's possibly been touted as a reason why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't played him, and you could understand that. If Ole didn't play him because he was possibly going to leave. Now, I want him to stay at United. What I really enjoyed about him was he held his position in that number 10 really well in terms of his distance from the midfield two and the striker, and I could see when United were moving back in defence and moving forward in attack, he was holding his position really well. He was trying really a lot of fantastic passes. Some of them didn't come off, but he was trying a lot of passes into the flanks as well, which was great to see, and really enjoyed that from Angel Gomes, and I hope we get to see more of him, and I hope he signs a new deal at Manchester United. Still remains to be seen though. Still a fan of Jones, just saw the viral videos with Mr. A. We all get things wrong, that's alright, that's alright. It was funny though, I know, it made me laugh as well, seeing that again. I forgot all about it, to be honest with you. I wasn't the only one to get that wrong. Fergie thought he was going to be a great player too. Didn't Fergie once compare him to Duncan Edwards? So if Fergie can get it wrong, I can get it wrong too. The return of Alexis, oh no. Playing on a toy xylophone, says Shoot Neutrality. Feelings on Lingard signing with Raiola. We don't know if it's true or not yet, so you know, getting angry about it, if some people are going to get angry about it, I don't get. But nevertheless, if it is true, it's a strange one. I'll be honest with you. He knows the feelings some people have towards Raiola, and it'd be a strange one if he did do that. But when you read Zlatan's book, and when you obviously see Paul Pogba, it's clear that Mino Raiola is respected by his clients. He gets his client very good deals, and if Jesse Lingard is potentially looking at a future outside of England, I don't think he'd play for anyone else in England. Well, actually, it wouldn't even surprise me, but if he was looking for a future potentially outside of England and a break from the pressures of Manchester United and the pressures of playing in England and all that, which is fair enough, if he was looking to do that, then maybe Mino Raiola would be the right man to get behind him in terms of trying to help him find deals elsewhere. But it's all rumours at the moment. I haven't seen anything confirmed or anything like that. Alexis back? No, I don't want Alexis back at all. No, thank you very much. When you guys are going to stop going to? I'm never going to stop going to games. You know, I hate the Glazers and all that, but I'm always going to be going to games whether the Glazers are there or not. So I'm not going to stop going now. Any more questions before we wrap this video up? Keep it coming in. on this Manchester United transfer rumours video. Keep it coming in here. Advait says, why aren't you talking about a central midfield, Adam? We need reinforcements in there. We've been talking about midfield for most of this video, so I'm assuming you signed in late. And if you have tuned in late, don't forget you can wind this video back and catch up on what you have missed, as we have discussed everything from Donny van der Beek to Ashley Young potentially going to Inter Milan. Manchester United have been linked with the likes of Sean Longstaff, which has been played down more recently as well. Let me log into the Athletic, see if they've got any latest Manchester United news that we can bring to you as well. Any other questions for you guys, get them in on this video before we wrap it up. Keep them coming in right about now. It's depressing after that game against Manchester City. Man United getting absolutely outplayed, but it can only get better, right? Fingers crossed. Hopefully. God damn. Don't spend, save the money for this summer. I can see that, but when you're shot to pieces in that midfield, and the thing for me is, yeah, we should have made signings in the summer. So there's no excuse about this January thing. You can work on deals. Even if they were to announce a deal that was done for the summer, work on something, make something happen. There's always an excuse with Manchester United. Start acting like the biggest club on the world. And on that note, guys, I have been Adam McKola, and I'm out of there.